Hey, welcome back. So, Bakugan Champions of Vestroia. Let's introduce everyone. I'm Sam, and I'm here with Tyler from Nintendo, and two special
What's up,
guests. We've
everyone?
got Steve. Hey, Tyler. We've got Steve Robert from Spin Master. Hey, Steve. Thank you for joining
Hello,
us.
brawlers.
And we've got Kenny Ilko from WayForward, one of my absolute favorite developers. And we want to shout out a special thanks to publisher Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment. So Kenny and Steve, thank you, welcome, and let's see the game. Let's jump in.
All right, let's go over some features first. In Bakugan Champions of Vestroia, you are the hero in an epic action role-playing game with an original story expanding on the hit TV series and toy franchise. We've designed a unique, real-time, and turn-based brawling system offering pick-up-and-play ease and layers of strategy to discover. There's plenty of depth in our game, including faction resistance, increasing your Bakugan's stats via in-game progression. Plus, you can selectively modify up to 4 special ability slots for each Bakugan on your team before and after the battle. In addition to brawling, which you'll be doing a lot of in our game, explore an RPG world across a variety of environments and engage in over 100 quests. In all, you'll collect over 80 Bakugan, plus 200 special ability types and upgrades to help you and your Bakugan become champions. Did I mention 80 Bakugan? Actually, it's 81, because we've listened to our fans and we're bringing back Leonidas. Lastly, we're proud to announce in Bakugan Champions of Vestroia, you can play against brawlers around the world and online head-to-head multiplayer. All right, Kenny, let's get our brawl on.
All right, we'll pick up the first fight down here. So I'm basically jumping in a mid-story quest here. I was sent by a local kid to go and do some practicing before some tournaments coming up.
All right, the brawl's beginning.
Yeah, immediately you get a sense
All
for
right.
just how huge they are.
Yeah, the scale of the Bakugan the intent was to make sure we kept the epic feel. You know, Bakugan are anywhere from like 2, 3, 4 stories tall, so we wanted to ensure that came through in combat as much as possible. So you know, the combat system is kind of a hybrid to the TV show. As people are watching the TV show and then the toy and TCG. So, you know, we're running around here in the Hive Matrix real time, collecting energy cores, which are those blue hexagons on the field. Those energy cores give you the equivalent of mana in like a fantasy RPG game. So on the bottom left corner, that's my 4 abilities. Those are, you know, the equivalent of, you know, essentially casting a spell. So right now I'm getting beat down a little bit as I'm talking, but I will change the course here quickly. So one thing you'll notice also with the energy core is we bring in some tactics and decision making just from the energy cores alone. See the course she just picked up there was a small energy glow, which means it has a lower quantity of energy that's going to supply you. The bigger the glow, the more energy you get. So now it becomes a decision of, you know, do I want to get these 1 or 2 close cores, or do I want to go for the far bigger core with more energy deeper into the field while passing up, you know, other options.
What's kind of interesting is like resource management, where you're having to collect the energy cores, but also plan what attacks or abilities you're going to use. Are you going to be quick to attack, or are you going to save more energy? And the strategy there is really what it comes down to. And looks like you won that brawl.
Indeed,
Well done,
yeah,
Kenny.
and
Nice
I mean,
work
to your
by the-
point, Thank you.
I was gonna say, by the skin of your teeth, you had 12 health left.
That was a nail biter.
I had another Bakugan in reserve. But yeah, to your point, Tyler, sorry, Steve, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to give a little background on story really quick. So basically where Kenny ended up there was in his last brawl in a series of quests, because he wants to impress this local hotshot named Larry, who's organizing a local tournament. Overall, our story interweaves between a series of tournaments and a larger investigation into a mysterious and abnormal earthquake activity going on in San Barbara's, which is the town of our game.
Yeah,
so
that's
there's a lot of focus on the brawling, but there's all of these other elements going on in the game that you're going to want to, I guess, constantly track on top of just your brawling strategies, right?
Correct.
That's right.
So, the storyline I just picked up there that I'm quickly progressing through is hitting on the point that Steve was talking about, where that was one of your good friends. She's telling you about some of the earthquake activity that's abnormal for the area going on, and she's investigating into it. And I think that's kind of where your story starts to unfold for you. So now I'm just kind of taking back my poster pieces that I had found for Larry. Oh, got one more quick thing to do for Larry. Pick up an item he lost here at the lake. But returning back to the combat, you're going into combat with a team of 3 Bakugan, and once you collect up to 3. And that's where a lot of the strategy is going to come into play between your Bakugan and your 4 abilities that you assign to the Bakugan, which we'll get into a little bit more here in a few minutes.
Just something that I kind of noticed that maybe others may have noticed as well is that your Bakugan you are actually talking to, but in battle they're so much larger. And if you mind kind of going into a little bit of that relationship that you have with your Bakugan?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Bakugan are sentient beings in the universe. So, what you actually also might have noticed is that the Bakugan appears slightly different, not just smaller, but a little bit different. So, when Bakugan are not in battles, as they so frequently love to be in, they actually are smaller, much smaller in toy size, much like the real toy. And they, your Bakugan are someone that you're actually befriending as you go.
That's pretty awesome. So you're going to build that relationship with your Bakugan as you continue to find more and change up your roster.
Correct.
I see a familiar face.
So there he is, Dan Kuzo.
Infamous Dan Kuzo.
Yes. So the awesome brawlers from the TV show again. You're going to get appearance from Dan here. Dan is kind of your tutorial guide, much like they do in the TV show. They will be streaming little information for you to help guide you through the game and get you going on your strategies and just your overall open world experience. So here he's telling us about, I just got a Baku ability card from Larry, and he's telling me how I can assign it to a new Bakugan. Again, one of the layers of strategy that you're going to have to consider is that every Bakugan ability is associated to a single faction. So there's 5 factions: Pyrrhus, Heos, Darkus, Aquos, and Ventus. So as you collect Bakugan ability cards, as you can see, there's 5 here. There's only 4 there. You'll start to get basically what's the equivalent of a mini deck building opportunity. So you get all these cards that are part of your deck to assemble, and your deck is really just the 4 abilities that you're assigning to each Bakugan when you go into the fight. and now Larry is.
So
giving
that's
me
where
more
that's
loot.
where a lot of the strategy comes in. Oh, I'm sorry, Kenny. Go ahead.
Oh no, absolutely. I was just saying Larry gives me more loot here. So yeah, you are correct. That is a lot of where the strategy's coming in.
So personally
might
for
have a
you,
whole suite. Oh, go ahead, Tyler. Sorry.
sorry, I was just saying personally for you, Kenny, what kind of strategies do you like to implement with your Bakugan? Are you more of a going in guns blazing head first, or a little more strategic on adding more kind of buffs or recovery?
So it's a good question. The Bakugan factions actually kind of draw their own strategy. So again, leveraging as much as we can from the TCG and bringing that experience into the game for the different players that'll recognize. A lot of the factions have their own playing style. So I generally try and adapt a playing style to the team I want to go in there, but when I have my druthers, I like the balance of Aquos and all its things it can do. But if I'm coming at you with a Pyrus Dragonoid, I will just bring an aggressive attack approach.
Hey, Kenny, what does she have for you there?
That's growing. She's telling us about something she saw at the fountain over here.
Oh,
There's a little sparkle.
check that out.
So,
All right.
Oh, nice.
This be your
Picked
third
up an
Bakugan?
Aquos Syndius. Indeed. So a lot of
now
what you'll find in oh, sorry, go ahead, Sam.
Oh, I was just gonna say, now you're rocking a full team.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. That is my third Bakugan. So early on, you'll start off finding one Bakugan. We jumped about 30 minutes into play here. But early on, you'll find your initial Bakugan, and then quickly pick up two more to fill out a minimum team of 3, and then you'll keep on finding Bakugan throughout the world by exploring or
Hey, Kenny, real quick.
kind of.
Sorry,
Yeah.
can you back? Oh, good. I wanted you to back out of that fight so you could strategize really quick before going in.
Oh yeah, apologies. Absolutely.
Yeah, so you could see as he was engaging in conversation, they were about to start a brawl, but you got a sneak peek at your opponent's lineup, and that gave you an opportunity to, as he was saying, drop out and then maybe rework your own team to counter what your opponent's going to be bringing into the brawl.
Yeah, exactly. And
swap that
so,
heal.
Tyler, to your question, I just got rid of that heal for some more combat attacking.
Give
I
more
hope that doesn't
firepower
come back
to
to
your
bite
Pyrus
you.
Dragonoid.
I also hope it does not come back to bite me. I'm going to do it with my Aqua Syndius.
We'll see
as well.
shortly.
I do like how you're able to switch out those abilities, and I think that adds a lot of depth to the battles, not only in game, but if I'm not mistaken, you'll be taking that online as well, correct?
Correct. That's absolutely right. So, whatever team and abilities you've built up throughout story mode is exactly what you're able to take into an online brawl. So there's the 2 darkest that he's bringing into the brawl with him.
Time to drum up. Let's do this.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, and one of
Hope
the
that
other
firepower
things,
comes in handy.
we'll see what we can do. And one of the other things that you may or may not have noticed when I was modifying my abilities on the Bakugan screen, every Bakugan has resistances to factions. So I wouldn't call it a paper, rock, scissors system by any means, but each faction has essentially two other factions that it defends well against, while it's weak against another faction. So just another layer of things to think about and ponder when you're going into battle. One of the reasons why you get that preview of who you're getting ready to go against and have the ability to make some alternate decisions.
I have to say, your opponent
more
has been
Bakugan.
pretty quick to swap his Bakugan between the two that he has, and it's really fast.
Right.
Yeah, he appears to have not liked his matchup to my Dragonoid originally. So in combat, aside from your 4 abilities that you're working with, we actually have other things. We're early gameplay, so as you evolve the Bakugan and they get bigger and stronger, there's other things other mechanics that we aren't going to be able to see here, but like Bakugear are passive abilities that you kind of charge up as you play. Those are special cores that, again, making a tactics level decision during the real-time combat. And then another big one is team attacks, pulling more inspiration from the TCG and toy line. If I can successfully charge up all 3 of my Bakugan here, which I am on my way to do, I will be able to pull off a team attack. So it's a lot about risk and reward, as I'm charging up, taking the time to charge up these guys. Obviously, as you can see, I'm taking a bit of a beating here. However, I'm hoping that the payoff from my one large team attack is going to equal the punishment I'm taking and more.
We hope you can pull that off. You got to get those Baku cores.
Yeah,
you are competing with the other character. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm just commenting on the battle. Fine.
Oh yeah, I was just saying that you're competing with the other character to collect those Baku cores as quickly as you can.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. So the cores on the field are not obviously in abundance. So again, another layer of tactics that you'll be introduced to later on in the game is that there's actually brawler abilities as well. So there's kind of boost gear, if you will, that allow you to do things like run faster, or a force field that knocks your opponent down if you get within a close range of them. So balancing the strategy elements of what Bakugan and what factions you're bringing in to into the battle, along with what you're doing at the real-time combat level here.
I think we're getting close.
Closer.
There's my team attack.
There you go.
Team attack! Yo, 1 hit. That was worth it.
So
Nice.
far, so good.
But his work is not done.
Still has 1 more to go.
And only 92 left on this guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I can take a couple hits.
See if I can beat him to the core. Yes.
But it was a big risk spending all of that time collecting those Baku cores for all of your Bakugan so that you can build up enough to do that big team attack.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And the later you get into the game, the riskier that kind of decision becomes. I have a little bit of an edge as I'm a 3 versus 2 advantage on him, but very soon in the story progression, you're going to be facing strictly 3-on-3 battles or brawls.
Well done, Kenny.
All right.
Nice work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was a great brawl. Epic team attack.
Nice work. So I think that's all the time we have today for Bakugan Champions of Vestroia. Thank you so much, Kenny and Steve, for joining us and showing us your game. Do you have any final thoughts you want to share with us before we head out?
Yeah, I just want to say we're really, really excited to be able to share the game today, and we hope our fans and beyond love playing it.
Yeah, and
All
thank
right,
you for the opportunity to be on Treehouse. And we've loved working with Spin Master on the IP, so it's a great opportunity.
That's
we love working with
Thank you,
WayForward.
guys. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Kenny
Thanks
and
a lot,
Steve, and thank
guys.
you, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler, for joining us. I hope
Thanks.
everyone enjoyed what you saw today. Thanks for tuning in. Stay safe. Bye, everyone.